All right, Roman Harper with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. What is up, Harp? How are you today, my friend?
What's up, fellas? How are you guys doing?
Doing great, doing great. Were you, I mean, it's the topic of the day, so I'll ask you the same question I started our last guest, Andy Staples, with. Were you surprised when you saw Alabama was behind Notre Dame last night? Did that take you off a little bit?
No, I mean, I understand why. Notre Dame won a game, Alabama lost the game. So it's just, and not only that, but they're Notre Dame, so they're always going to get the benefit of the doubt. And Notre Dame's playing really well. They said that was going to be a really good game versus Pittsburgh, and it was not. And so ultimately, you control your own destiny when you win games. And right now, Alabama lost the game, and they have no reason to complain.
Where are you right now? We were talking about eye test, and we know eye test is not a criteria, although, I think it's kind of common sense and just part of it. Where are you eye test-wise on Alabama? Do you believe even after that loss, they are still a team that can win a championship, and are they closer to top five, or are they where they should be right now?
I think they're about where they need to be. Look, you got to win games. I still think Alabama has the ability to win a championship game. I'm not going to back off of that. I do think they have holes in their game. And I think other teams have less holes in their game, like in Ohio State. I assume Indiana has less holes in their game, even though I'm not willing to commit to that as far as like top tier talent. And so Texas A&M is a team that I think has less holes in their game. Georgia is a team right now that has less holes in their game because they're getting better and playing better right now than any other team, in my opinion, in the country. And so Alabama, they don't run the ball well. And when their offense they can't protect the quarterback has had problems holding onto the ball in the pocket. That has been a knock on Ty Simpson for me all year long. And then, when the wide receivers aren't getting open and they're not scoring at a high clip, they're going to struggle. So for me, that was Alabama earned that loss just as much as Oklahoma earned that win. And so I want to make sure I continue to give Oklahoma credit. But I got to say that Alabama, they earned that loss. You can't go out there, lose the turnover battle 3-0, put the ball on the ground on their side of the 50-yard line multiple times when you have a kicker named Tate Sandell in his hoochie daddy pants that are going to make every single kick when he has the opportunity to do it.
Hoochie daddy.
Listen, not Alabama related, but SEC related. Where's the incentive for the SEC to schedule out-of-conference games like they are scheduling? You look at future SEC out-of-conference schedules, and they are playing some massive big out-of-conference games, going to 9 conference games, which adds another difficult game to the schedule. Why schedule these games that you could possibly lose, Roman, when it doesn't matter strength of schedule? If I'm still 10-1 going into the last weekend, if I'm 11-1, 12-0, I'm in a better place than a tougher scheduled 10-2 team. Why play these games? Why do I have to schedule difficult?
I think because at the end of the day, when the SEC gets in 5 teams and is knocking on the door at 6 this year, it's going to pay off. It's just like, you know what? Well, having a harder schedule does matter. And and especially when you go on the road and you win these games. And so, ultimately you still always control your own destiny in between the white lines. And so if I go out there and I know it's maybe an on the road or a tough environment, but if I win that game, how much power does it give me at the end of the year? And then if you lose that game early on in the season, it doesn't really hurt you. We've seen that with Alabama right now versus Florida State. Nobody even cares about that loss. It's like it doesn't even happen. It's a mulligan. You get out of jail free card. So if you schedule these games early and you lose it, you still have the ability to make it all up because of your tougher schedule. And then if you win it, it's just something it's the ace in the hole. If you do need to get out of jail later, that a loss, they did beat Ohio State week 1. So I think it's net only positive at the end of it, because if you lose it, it doesn't matter. And then if you win it, then it's something that you can always look back onto and say, okay, that win matters a lot. Even though Miami beat Notre Dame, and, we don't care about that one no more.
Yeah.
I know. But I said Notre Dame's different.
Yeah, and truthfully, if Texas had played Texas San Antonio instead of Ohio State, you think they're in a better place right now? If Alabama had played UT Martin against instead of Florida State? You think they're in a better place right now?
Not really. I mean, Alabama would still be behind Oklahoma because they just lost to them. Whether it's one loss or two losses, you're still lost. So you're still behind them. I think it doesn't do anything for Alabama. I think for Texas's point, I think Texas would have more of a pathway still into the playoff conversation because of their two losses being SEC teams. But ultimately, they have 3 losses now, but their 2 losses in the SEC would matter less. And so you say that, but I think Texas is still who they are. Like, I think all of these teams, everything we get so caught up in, I still haven't seen it where at the end of the year, we're like, man, this team deserved to be in and they didn't get in. Because ultimately you lost the wrong game. Ole Miss last year, South Carolina last year. Like, they still lost the games that they lost. And I know they were pushing towards it and they wanted to get in, but they all still had 3 losses. Yeah. And right now you ain't getting in with 3 losses unless this year you're Alabama that gets into the SEC championship game and you lose to Texas A&M. Your 3 losses, you're still going to get in.
Roman Harper is with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline. On the actual field, the game's being played. Texas A&M, they have feasted on the bottom half of the conference. They do have the win over Notre Dame, but they have feasted on the bottom half of the conference. A&M to you is what, Roman? I mean, tell me what A&M is to you.
Oh, they're full. They're full of them, right? How much they've eaten on the bottom half of these guys. It's been interesting to see. I think Texas A&M is still one of the best, most complete teams in the country because of the ability to be able to score at a high clip when they have to. And then defensively, I think they just crush people on third down. And then they have some real killers up front. So I think I really like what Texas A&M is. I thought they played a terrible first half versus South Carolina. South Carolina, I'm more concerned, how do they ever recover after letting a team come back from 27 points in pretty much one quarter of football? It was like one quarter, and the game was all the way back. So I don't know how South Carolina ever truly recovers. And shout out to Texas A&M for not giving up. And it's unfortunate because I don't know what that would have kind of flipped the SEC upside down. But Texas A&M survived, and you got to give them credit for winning the game ultimately.
Roman, I know A&M's undefeated, but best team in the SEC right now is the Georgia Bulldogs, right?
Yes, correct. Look, and a lot of it has to do with how much they've improved as a team. Another part of it has to be I got to give Gunnar Stockton a lot of credit. Like, I didn't know he was going to be this good for this team this early, and he is an asset, not a liability. They are winning games because of Gunnar Stockton and what he's doing with that offense, with using his legs, ability to get the ball out, also taking care of the football for the most part, and making plays and getting it back out there. Shout out to Mike Bobo, which none of the Georgia fans want me to say, all right? But shout out to him as well. He's actually calling some really good games, putting his playmakers in position to make plays. And I know Georgia fans hate it, but Mike Bobo's doing well too. And Kirby Smart is putting on an absolute coaching clinic the last couple of weeks and showing why when you have a great head coach that's dialed into the X's and O's and is a freaking psychopath sometimes about this game of football, that it pays off dividends. He got a free first down out of Mississippi State and got 7 points out of it right before the half last week or 2 weeks ago in Starkville, and the game was over. Then this past week, when, Georgia's got a lead. Oh, it's fourth quarter. What's Texas going to do to respond? Onside kick. Turn the heat up on them. Game over. Game over after that. And so those plays, those things, when you see head coaches going out there and doing those things, and then the players executing it on top of it, I love it. And for me, it kind of put Georgia at an upper echelon that everybody else is playing checkers and Kirby right now is playing chess.
If I changed Lane Kiffin's last name to Lane Harper and he was your brother, what advice would you give your brother over the next few days?
I would, first of all, ask him, what makes you happy? And, ultimately, what do you want to do in life? Because you have everything. Not only that, but you can go anywhere you want to. The world is your oyster. It's like being a top 5 recruit out of high school. It's what school do you want to go to? And what ultimately what vibe do you want? What do you think is going to bring you happiness? Because if Ole Miss and Oxford is bringing you happiness, and you are still the same guy that got fired on the tarmac leaving USC, remember that. Like, don't forget who you are or what you've been through to get you to where you are right now. And so I know it's losing your father, having to break up with the wife, who's now back in his life, but as friends, and the family dynamic's good. And so do you uproot all that and go somewhere else? And I know you're hearing all the rumors about, well, the ex-wife's in Gainesville visiting. They were in Baton Rouge. I haven't seen any film I haven't seen any evidence of that. Just a lot of smoke and mirrors. The ex-wife is from Gainesville area. She went to Florida, so she can go there as much as she wants. I don't know how we should put anything into that. So like all of these things are true. And if Lane's last name was Harper, I would tell him ultimately what's going to make you happy. And do you want to be known as the greatest coach at this school possibly by staying here? Or do you want to go somewhere else and maybe, maybe. And you got to win a championship in the first 4 years at LSU or you're going to be a failure because that's the standard that they've set. And then at Florida, they've been really good, but they've been awful, right? The past, 4 out of the 5 years, they have losing seasons. 4 out of the last 5 years, they've had losing seasons. Before 2020, it had been since 1981 to 2020, they've had 2 losing seasons. And they've had 4 out of the last 5. So this is a program that says they're like an A+ or a dime, but really and truthfully, when you cut the lights on, it's like a 7, 6 and plus, 6 and change.
Hey, before you bounce out of here, last year on this show about this time, you were like, look, Alabama's defense got some holes in it. I'm not going to say anything about it, but it's got some holes in it. They're making the plays. That's okay, but it's got some holes in it. As you've had another full year to digest this, it looked pretty dang good Saturday. Where are you on this Alabama defense?
I think Alabama's defense is the reason why they are in a lot of these games and win them. But I would say this. It wasn't good enough versus Oklahoma.
Dang.
And how do I say that? Roman, how do you say that?
How do you say that?
Alabama doubled. Yeah, how do you say that? What do you mean? Because when you're a defense and you're a defensive guy, you can't control what the offense does. Correct or incorrect?
Correct.
All right. So then all you can do is everything that you got to help your team win a game. Correct or incorrect?
That's correct. Okay.
All right. So what did we do wrong? Defense, or what can we get better at? All right. We did a good job. We only allowed 1 touchdown, a whole bunch of field goals. Fine. But let me tell you what the game-changing play was that the defense didn't make. All right. Alabama just throws a pick 6. It makes it 10-0. Alabama gets the ball back. They go right down. It is 7-10. Second quarter, early in second quarter. Next thing you know, first play of the drive, they drop back. They throw a slant route. Hits Justin Jefferson dead in the hands.
Yep.
He catches that ball. He's got a wide open walk into a touchdown. 14-10. Game is completely different. You go 14-10. It's called a missed opportunity. You can't have them. If we have a chance to flip the game, change everything in the game and help our team win, we got to make the play. Not only that, but then Nakai Hill Green, number 41, dropped an interception in the third of the fourth quarter as well. That sets your team up at midfield, and all of a sudden you give your offense a chance to go down and be able to score and win the game again. So, no, the defense was not as good as they could be. And you still have to find ways to push yourselves and find ways to say, okay, what can I do to help my team win the game?
Yeah.
And so the defense, for as good as they weren't good enough, in my opinion, because of those 2 plays.
It'll make you feel good to know that Deontay.
And there was some other plays in there, too. But those are the 2 biggest to me.
It'll make you feel good to know that Deontay Lawson, the first opportunity I had to interview him after the game, he was asked, you guys played your best game of the year, and he said, whoa. That was not our best game of the year. And he said, because we didn't turn the ball over at all. We lost the turnover battle, and that's on us. And that's the mentality you're talking about.
Because that's what you can control. It's literally the only thing that you can control. None of the rules are built for defenses to have any type of advantage in football. So you have to constantly push yourself. and not accept mediocrity and not accept all the smoke that everybody's going to blow on you and tell you how great you are when you know deep down that the only way I can impact the game in a big way is to stop them on third down and to force turnovers. And if you don't force turnovers, you're not going to win that game. And so that was the biggest difference. Oklahoma made their kicks with the Hoochie Daddy pants. Love Tate Sandell. Love that kid. All right. And you can wear whatever you want when you make him kick.
That's right.
Paulty misses his kick, tries to blame the snapper. Embarrassing. He ain't good enough to do that either. I'm just telling you right now, you ain't that good to be calling out your snapper. When your snapper ain't called you out not one time, when you done missed all these other kicks this season. So I don't want to hear about it. That's unacceptable. All right? It's three people that got to be thick as thieves on that team. It's the kicker, the punter, and the snapper. Like, those are the guys that we barely call football players that always hang out all the time. You can't be turning on each other. I'm just telling you. All right? That's not good. So they've missed their kicks. Oklahoma made theirs. You lose the takeaway turnover battle. Not only that, but then one went for 7. So defensively, you got to go get it back. And so all the other stats, none of them matter. Alabama won third down. You won all these other things. But if you don't win the stats that matter in football, you're going to lose that game. I don't care if it's Wednesday night, junior high, little league, or high school Friday nights. It's going to happen.
Well said. Harp, thank you for the time. Have a great weekend, buddy. We always appreciate it.
Oh, man, appreciate it, man. Miss you boys, man. Y'all be good, all right?
All right, buddy. Take care. Roman Harper with us on the Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys Hotline.